Hello guys, how are you? I hope you all are doing good. So today we are gonna interpret Jean-Jacques Rousseau. So today we are gonna interpret Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Rousseau is known as the father of French Revolution. He is known as the father of French Revolution. He gave the slogan of liberté, equality, and fraternité. I'm pronouncing it like this because it is a French pronunciation. French pronunciation. That's why it is like that. As a thinker, he has given the theory of general will. He belonged to the time when the modernity was on verge, and he became critic of it. He became critic of it. He is also known as the thinker of paradoxes. Not only his language is paradoxical, but his ideas too are paradoxical in nature. So, what are the Rousseau's main concern? Rousseau's concern was as he was representing the psychology of the people, psychology of people who was not liking modernity, industrialization, and capitalism. So he wants to make it go back to the state of nature, go back to nature. Theme of Rousseau's political philosophy was his thinking was the purpose of life. Purpose of life is happiness. Of life is happiness, and the source of happiness is freedom. And the freedom is doing what one wants to do. What one wants to do. In his thinking, that in modern time, there is no freedom. It is just an illusion of freedom. So he formed a social contract, how to get freedom. And the opening work of his social contract is that man born free, is born free, but everywhere in chains. Ideas of Rousseau. So ideas of Rousseau regarding the human nature. He think man is essentially good. Man is initially good. He has the feeling of self-love as well as sympathy for others. For others. This statement shows that he has the positive nature about the man and the human. What it is a state of nature. It symbolizes the life of man before the beginning of modern age. Means that he wants to tell about his state of nature is before the modern age. Before modern age. According to him, the state of nature is the state of bliss, bliss and perfect happiness. Because he says in it man was happy because He was acting he was acting according to according his real will. Then what is the real will? Real will is the will which one wants to do. Means that you want to eat ice cream and it is your real will, not this that you can't eat ice cream. This is a typical example, but I think that you have understood. His idea on origin of civilization. It symbolizes the origin of reason. He thinks that as the reason come, that the civilization come, and the men are naturally inclined toward reason. In the words of Rousseau, man was noble, savage, and thinking man is a depraved animal. Means, as it says, the man is noble, savage. Savage means noble means the elite person, and savage means as you have heard this word about that you are the savage person means the elite sort of person. And the thinking man, the man who thinking man is depraved animal. Depraved animal means that the man who thinks more and who can't take decision in his own. So he is depraved, he is suppressed, and he is living like the animal. This is basically what he wants to say. When man was savage, uncivilized, he was good and happy. When man becomes civilized or rational, as thinking belongs to the rational, he become unhappy and reduced himself as a level of animal because all the direction which is the given by the state he is following it, not his real will. So it is somehow like the dog which we treat in our home. So he does all things which we tell them. The animal and contract. Since the present life is not the life of happiness according to Rousseau, so Rousseau suggests that the man will enter into the contract. According to Rousseau, there is two sort of contract can be. Go back to nature, go back to nature and make changes in current situation, in current scenario. He says going back to the nature is not possible and doing this doing making changes in the current scenario in current political system, it can be the possible thing. In present system, what we can do, we can be free. According to him, we can be free subject to the he says that we can make changes in the current scenario by practicing our real will. Means he says that as we come forward, we'll go for a real will. Indirectly, he's supporting that the direct democracy, direct democracy. What does it mean? Direct democracy means like it is prevailing in present time in Switzerland and Geneva in the small countries. What happens in this? Like you have to bring a particular bill, like for example, that from tomorrow, that from some time, that legalizing the marijuana. So legalizing the marijuana. So all the person will vote for it for the particular, and the government will do a particular voting for it that it should be legalized or not. Then it can be. But in like in India, as we follow the not the direct democracy, it is the indirect sort of democracy. In it, our parliamentarians take the decision about it. But in Geneva, the particular citizen will vote for in the favor of marijuana legalization, but not for the MP or party. They will give their particular interest and vote for this particular topic. So it is the direct democracy. So it says that if we form a particular scenario where we can practice our real will and all it, so it can be the good sort of system and a good contract. So what should be the features of contract? Zulu. The features of Rousseau's contract. People enter into the contract and decide according to their real will. Rousseau suggests that there are two types of will. Will. One is real will. Another is actual will. Real will is the real will what the person wants to do, and what it does. Because according to some circumstances, he can't do the particular thing, so it leads to the actual will. Like you want to go for a night stay, it is your real will, but your parents doesn't allow you, then it is the actual will, you can't go. So this is a good example. And what is the concept of general will, which for which he has been the uploaded a lost? Concept of general will is the it is a hypothetical concept which can be assumed, which can happen or not. General will be the sum of all real will. General will is it will be sum of all real will means the all the citizens which are living in the particular state, they will come together, they will synthesize on the particular real will, and they form the particular idea. So it will form the general will. He says the general will is always good because he represents the majority. So how the general will be produced? That's the main question it arises. So it is the basic thing that how it can be produced. It can be produced by the between the various deliberation between the real wills, and some of it will be called general will. According to him, who is state? We the people. State is sovereign in the case people are states, so people are sovereign. According to him, who is a state? Who is a state means the we the people. So he is not emphasizing on the demographic boundaries. His main purpose is the we the people. Means the people of the country form the state. So their rule will prevail. What is the core idea in Rousseau? The core idea is when we follow the law made by state, we are free because we are acting as per our real will. What is the core idea in Rousseau? What are the core idea? The core idea is when we follow the state, when we follow state made laws made by state, law made by state, we are free because we are acting by our will. Rousseau says men should be forced to be free. Rousseau says says men should be forced to be free. Why general will? To be free and happy, to reconcile liberty and authority. Since we cannot go back to the state of nature, we have to find a system of authority which ensure liberty. Why general will is needed? To be free and happy, to reconcile liberty, and authority. Authority, we need it. How men will be free in presence of a state? How men will be free in presence of a state? When it is under the law, self-made law, as there will be the direct democracy. So man will have the all the interpretation and all the involvement in making of the particular law. So he can be the free. How man will be truly free? What is the truly free? When man has participated in it, and participated in formation of law. Features of general will. It is highly abstract and philosophical concept. philosophical concept. Though it is some of real will, yet it is more than the real will of all. Then how? It is more than the real will of all, because there will always be the some person who will not relate to the particular idea. Like for example, we can take that there is a group of 5 person. They want to go for a night out, and so some decided that we'll take it on the Monday, and some are in the favor of going for the Tuesday. And so there's thought for the going for the voting, and 3 person agreed for the Monday, and 2 goes for Tuesday. So how it can be the good, as the real will is the sum of all the real will. So the decision goes in the favor of Monday and the 3 person, but there will always be the 2 person whose real will doesn't match. Doesn't match. So this is the problem which can be arise through it. According to Rousseau, man should be forced to be free. It means a state can force. It means a state can force a person to follow the laws made by a state representing the general will. In case a person does not follow, in case a person does not follow, the state can punish. Thus, through this statement, he come near to the Hobbes. What are the things that he is talking about? The freedom, because he is the forcing the person. How it can be true? Look for it. There is his criticism of Rousseau. Rousseau's general will. Rousseau's general will is Hobbes' Leviathan with its head chopped off. Rousseau, as I have already said, that Rousseau is known as the thinker of paradoxes. His ideas give the contradictory thoughts. On one side, he is explaining himself, predicting himself as the champion of liberty, and on one hand, he's forcing to be free, which will eventually lead to the absolutism and totalitarian. If Hobbes suggest a covenant without swords are nothing but words, Rousseau suggests man should be free. They both are explaining the same, but Rousseau is applying some lip servicing or some sweetness to it, so it looks somehow the cool, because in the first he started himself as a champion of liberty and democracy, but at last these words that the man should be free, so he is himself forcing the person to be free, and the free in his means for the following the real will. Real will is majority, and the majority can always be lead to the totalitarian or tyranny. So that's all for today. Bye.